At the height of the most viral sensation of TikTok in 2024, you got me to fly to New York for free, unpaid, to essentially promote your foundation.
I remember that.
This isn't journalism. This is bullying. The fact that adult writers are spending their time dissecting my face, my body, my choices is disturbing. And the fact that some of these articles are written by women makes it even worse.
So I do think that the drug claims in this lawsuit are totally valid for a consumer complaint, and I'm surprised that the FDA hasn't sent them a warning letter.
The person who has bought Carol's daughter is the original founder of the company. Her name is Lisa Price. And I am so happy to see a brand coming out with an actually good commercial that's not e.l.f. Cosmetics. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to What's Up in Makeup, where we talk about everything that happened across the beauty industry all in one place. But before we can jump in to all of the things that happened this week, we need to take just a moment to thank this week's sponsor. One of my least favorite things to do in life is make doctor's appointments. That's why for today's sponsored video, I wanted to share ZocDoc with you. Finding a new doctor is a process. Beyond figuring out whether the doctor that you searched and found actually has appointments available, there's the layers of questions about, do they take my insurance? Are they even the right doctor for the problem that I'm having? For me personally, and I know this might sound strange to some people, what stops me from making doctor's appointments is making that initial phone call. I get intense anxiety when I have to call an office that I've never called before. I even get anxiety when I have to call offices that I have called before. If any of this sounds familiar, or you're just tired of wasting precious time looking for a doctor, you want to check out ZocDoc. The best part about ZocDoc is that it is absolutely free to use. It's not a subscription plan in any way. They don't sneak any, you have to pay for this, later after you've used it. None of that. It is 100% free for patients to use. ZocDoc is like a search engine for doctors. So when you go in, you can search for doctors specifically in your area, doctors that take your insurance and for your specific needs. They have over 100,000 doctors in their system for a variety of medical needs, from eye care to dentistry to skincare. Anything you can think of as far as what you might need a doctor for, there's doctors in their system. And the best part, this is my favorite part, is that when you go in, you can search and filter by insurance, you can filter by what you need. And once you've found a doctor that you're interested in visiting, you can schedule your appointment right through the ZocDoc website. You just click on the date and you find a time that's available, and there you go. You've got your appointment. No anxiety-ridden phone calls anymore for me. Another thing that's fantastic about ZocDoc is that they have verified reviews from patients who have visited that doctor before. You can kind of filter through there and see if this is a doctor that you'll match up well with. ZocDoc is literally the tool that I have wanted to exist since my mom stopped making my appointments in the mid-1990s. This platform is amazing. So if you are interested in trying out ZocDoc yourself, again, 100% free. They don't charge patients for this service. You're going to go to ZocDoc.com/JENLUV. That link is also in the video description if you want to check it out. Thank you again so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring this video. I am so excited about this service, and I know you will too. And your body's gonna thank you for finally making that appointment. You may recognize this face. And if you recognize her, it is probably from the very demure trend that was all over TikTok and beyond, to the point where celebrities were talking about being very demure, very mindful, from people like Jennifer Lopez to RuPaul to Jamie Lee Curtis to Lindsay Lohan. Everybody was showing how demure and mindful they were. That was started by Jules LeBron. But what Jules has started recently is a brand new podcast with her brother called The Very Demure Podcast. The very first episode is up on YouTube, and I watched it and I enjoyed it immensely. One of the things that she shared in that podcast was very interesting because it calls back to some drama that Patrick Ta had in the past, and it kind of reinforces the influencer experience, especially influencers of color and their dealings with Patrick Ta and his brand. I do want to note here that Jules did block out the name Patrick Ta from her video with a little quack sound, but there are some hints that she is absolutely talking about Patrick Ta. The first part, you can read her lips.
I went to go to New York to do foundation event.
She is saying with her lips, Patrick Ta. And if you look at the thumbnail, you will see a very small little foundation with a little question mark on it. And that little foundation appears to be the Patrick Ta Foundation, which is the center of Jules' story. I'm going to allow Jules to tell you what happened.
I went to go to New York to do foundation event. Gets called out for not paying brown and black creators.
Oh, no.
So then everyone's like asking me like, oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Because I went to this foundation event during the Very Demure launch. And so then I thought about it. At the height of the most viral sensation of TikTok in 2024, you got me to fly to New York for free, unpaid, to essentially promote your foundation.
I remember that.
And then the thing was, I didn't feel this way until I looked back at the simple fact that like, he was like, him and his manager were like, oh, we're going to just make some TikToks. We're just going to make some TikToks. And so then I'm excited because I was like one of my idols.
Right.
Gagged. Love him. So I'm like, of course I'm going to make some fucking TikToks with you. You know what I mean? He was making TikToks with all the divas, but he was paying the other divas.
Right.
I had found out later. So then
Damn.
Everyone's like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Didn't want to like stir the pot. Because like, what am I going to say? Like, didn't pay like the Very Demure girl who's a plus size like Afro Latina, like
right.
Like that's gonna be like ending like stab in the wound. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So I was like, let me just shut the fuck up and let that play out. So, but then these motherfuckers made a video talking about some. Oh, if you're a creator who worked for us, like, and you felt like you should have been paid, like, just like let us know and we'll pay you. So then I left a little Kamiana, and I was like, hey, just thought it was kind of weird I didn't get paid for you guys to make me essentially promote your foundation and get you 12 million views on it.
Wow.
You guys could cut me a quick check.
Well, yeah, people are, they're going to put you in a position where you feel grateful to be with them.
Because also, too, it was kind of gaggy for them, to fly us out and then make us meet them at their hotel. And their hotel's just so much nicer than ours.
Oh, wow.
And then on top of that, they got us there last minute. I quit my job to go. And I told them I quit my job.
Damn.
You should. And then he had the fucking, I just got mad. He had the fucking nerve to be under one of these videos because I was like talking about like I'm going to use my Demure brand deals to pay for like my surgeries and stuff.
Yeah.
He had the fucking nerve. Someone tagged him, was like, oh my God, give Jules her first brand deal.
Nah.
When he did it, and then was like, we love helping the divas.
No way.
Again, I highly recommend you watch the entire podcast. It was very good. I have subscribed, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do on the podcast next. But back to this story, it really does align, like I said, with other stories about Patrick Ta in the past. Going viral, I guess it was the end of last year-ish. There was a creator named Ivana Sunshine, and she had put up a video basically saying that she had worked for Patrick Ta and that he had never paid her for her work.
I'm sick of seeing companies profit off of the black dollar and they're not paying black creators. What do you suppose I do? I went the nice way. I wasn't the mad black woman when I emailed or when I DM'd you. So what do you suppose I do? I have a question for brands. How would you feel if someone stole from you? If someone took your hard-earned time and work, blood, sweat, and tears, and they stole from you. I was like, just let it go. But then you see people, especially Black people, riding for the company. And that doesn't make me feel very well, because I just wonder if those Black creators that are supporting you so heavily knew that you were out here not paying Black creators, how would they feel? I don't think they'd be okay with that. I'm surely not. And who knows? You may see this video and still not give a shit. But my work here is done. Pay Black creators.
In response to that, Patrick did something very odd that I have never seen in my time here in the social media space, watching influencers and watching brands. He uploaded an apology video.
I need to address the situation that has happened with Ivana and how my team and I have been handling it the last couple of days. I personally reached out to Ivana immediately after seeing the video, and I do not expect a response, and she does not owe me a conversation. She is probably just tired and angry at this entire situation, and rightfully so. Ivana, I am truly so sorry that this has escalated to this point, and I'm so sorry that I didn't see your message. I want to get you compensated as soon as possible, today if possible, if you are willing to answer me. I have had the privilege to be able to have met you and to know what a ray of sunlight you are, and I want you to know that if I had known this, I would have never let this happen.
That's not the weird part. The weird part is that he deleted that video and replaced it with a tearful version of the exact same video.
I need to address the situation that has happened with Ivana and how my team and I have been handling this. I immediately reached out to Ivana after seeing that video, and I don't expect a response from Ivana. She doesn't owe me a conversation. She is probably mad at this whole entire situation, and that is completely understandable. Ivana, I am truly so sorry that this has even escalated to this point, and I am so sorry that I didn't see your message. I want to get you compensated as soon as possible today if you are willing to answer me. I have had the privilege to be able to have a interaction with you, and I know what a ray of sunshine you are. If I had known this, I would have never let this happen.
And of course, he was widely roasted across the internet. But what also happened was that other creators, specifically Black and brown creators, were coming out and saying that they had very similar encounters with the brand, including Gloria George, who is a very vocal advocate for people of deeper skin tones and shade range expansion. What kills me about Jules' story in particular is how he took advantage of her and her new success, her newfound fame. He knew the opportunity he had in having Jules on his social channels and didn't compensate her, knowing how good it would be for the brand. And to me, that is just the epitome of super messed up. But I'm super glad that Jules is now telling the story, because this is a cautionary tale for anybody that is in the public eye and how they can be taken advantage of. People that upload to the internet, nobody knows when or if something that they create will go viral. And it feels like even though Jules had a very successful platform before Demure and Mindful, this blew her up to an entirely new level. And being starstruck by being around Patrick Ta, he really did take advantage of that. And it's just so messed up. It does seem like this happened around the same time that other creators were having very similar experiences with Patrick Ta and his brand. So I don't know if they have changed anything since then, but I will definitely keep my eye on it and let you know if there are any evolutions to the story, if I hear of any other creators having similar experiences, or if Patrick seems to be changing his ways. Last week, we talked about how the parent company of Ciate, Lottie London, and Skin Proud had closed all 3 websites, leaving customers completely ghosted. Customers that had been waiting for product from as long ago as Black Friday still haven't received their items. For those couple of months between Black Friday and when the website shut down, customers were posting on their social media saying, hello, I haven't gotten my products. People were emailing the company and not hearing anything back. They were literally ignoring people that had given them money and not received products. And now, of course, as of last week, everything is just shut down, and we found out that the parent company, which is called Brand Agency London, is now in something called administration in the UK. It's similar to the US's Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Now, here's the new information for this week. The owner of these 3 companies and the parent company is a woman named Charlotte Knight. Rightfully, some customers have been asking, where is Charlotte in all of this? What has she been doing? Well, thanks to an informant, we know a little bit about what Charlotte has been doing, and also thanks to Robert Welsh for passing this information along with me. He checked with the informant. The informant said it was okay to share it with me since Robert decided he wasn't going to put it up on his channel because he feels like he is done with this topic and he is ready to move on. So therefore, we're going to talk about it here. So thanks, Robert. Much appreciated. I love working together with other creators in the space. This person had been following Charlotte's personal account on Instagram and saw this in her Instagram stories. Remember, as her customers are waiting for products to be shipped. Among pictures of 2 properties that Charlotte owned, it looked like she might have sold one and then purchased the other. It was a house and a flat, or what we would call in the US an apartment. Among those images, there was a picture of Charlotte's feet. So here is one image of Charlotte having a great time on a ski trip. The caption on the photo reads, "Back on board." So it appears that Charlotte, while customers are missing their items and her company is going into administration, is gallivanting off on vacation, which it's in poor taste. It's in poor taste. According to the person that gave this information to Robert, soon after she posted this to her Instagram story, she had made her account private. So it's possible that people were DMing her and being like, dude, this is a little bit insensitive while you have my money to now be taking my money and going on vacation instead of giving me my products. So in the end, is this the biggest sin of all time? No, but it is kind of icky. Black woman-owned beauty brands have been following a certain pattern for the past few years. And the pattern tends to be that the woman starts the business and she grows it and she grows it and she cultivates it and she makes this amazing thing, but then wants to sell the brand. That's what a lot of indie brands do. Hello, editing Jen. Something happened with my audio in this part. So what I'm trying to say is that the women are building these brands up to this massive level and then selling them to these big parent companies that are run by white men. All right, that was what I had said. Back to the video, which is counter to the heart of what people saw these brands being. I'm talking about Mielle Organics. I'm talking about Shea Moisture. I'm talking about the Honey Pot. The other thing that has been happening is that beauty brands like Mented and Beauty Bakery have gone through a situation where maybe they were having trouble keeping product in stock, or maybe sales weren't what they wanted them to be. Something happened financially where the founder had to make a choice, either sell the company and have somebody else grow it, or shut down completely. And like in the other situation, the people who end up buying these companies are either owned by or run by white men. Once again, a story we talked about last week that seems unrelated, but it's related, I'll bring it back, is that Huda Kattan ended up last week selling her shares in her sister's fragrance company called Ciate, and she's using that money to buy back the part of Huda Beauty from investors that she needed at one point, but apparently doesn't want investors anymore. So she's going to buy them out with the money that she got from her Ciate shares so that she will now be in charge of Huda Beauty. This week, we have a story about Carol's daughter. And I remember when Carol's daughter was sold to L'Oreal, people revolted. Well, L'Oreal will no longer own Carol's daughter. The person who has bought Carol's daughter is the original founder of the company. Her name is Lisa Price. And Lisa will now assume the role as president of the company. She is also going to have an equity stake in the partnership. That means that she doesn't own the brand outright, but she's going to have a significant stake in it. She has a business partner. His name is Joe Wong. And according to news outlets, Joe has a proven track record of acquiring and growing brands, including Ambi, Acne Free, Baxter of California, and Dermablend. In a press release, the company stated, by returning Lisa Price to a central leadership role, the brand can pivot more nimbly to evolving customer needs while preserving its core values and identity. I interpreted this as Carol's daughter lost the plot, and Lisa is going to hone in on what Black women want because she knows this, and she is going to help return Carol's daughter to their former glory because she has that background knowledge and she has that skill in order to regrow the brand. L'Oreal USA's CEO David Greenberg said in a statement, "At the heart of this legacy is Lisa Price, an entrepreneur who has always been ahead of her time and has built Carol's daughter into a beloved brand that has honored and celebrated women of color for decades. We are confident that Lisa Price, as president and the support of its new partner, Carol's daughter, will continue to thrive for years to come." So this is very exciting. I love to see this. I love to see Lisa back in charge of Carol's daughter. And I love to see Lisa back making money from the brand like she should. She grew that brand. She sold that brand. And now she's back. And I can't wait to see what Carol's daughter does next. Speaking of formerly Black-owned businesses, Mielle Organics is in the news again for something not so good. They've found themselves in controversy once again, this time with 2 class action lawsuits. One of them is surrounding their rosemary mint products, and the other one is for false advertising. So let's talk about what's happening. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Just because a class action is filed doesn't mean it has merit, doesn't mean it's going to go through. Anybody can file a class action about anything, so keep that in mind. It's going to be up to the courts to decide whether there's evidence here to go against Mielle. But this is what's happening. First thing you need to know is that Mielle is owned by P&G. They acquired the brand from co-founders Monique and Melvin Rodriguez in January of 2023 for an undisclosed amount, but rumor has it, it was a lot of money. Since then, the road for Mielle has been rocky. Back in 2024, we talked about this in What's Up in Makeup. The founder, Monique Rodriguez, she came out publicly against rumors that their rosemary mint products had caused hair loss or hair thinning. She even went so far as to accuse one of the creators who spread this information of being paid by a competitor to Mielle.
We recently discovered that the original TikTok creator who sparked all of those rumors about Mielle products causing hair loss and falsely claiming that the rosemary mint oil formula has changed, that creator has been paid by one of our competitors. Yes, this creator was earning a commission to promote a competitor's product while spreading misinformation about our products for their own personal gain. So I just want to reassure you guys that our products are safe. They are based on consistent formulas, sourcing, and processes, and they are used and loved by millions of satisfied customers every day without a problem. But now I need your help. Please spread this word and share this message with everyone that you know, because the truth matters, and it's up to us to make sure that the truth is heard.
What I didn't realize at the time was that this was paired with a lawsuit that was filed by a woman named Georgina. Now, I don't know if Georgina is this influencer or it's somebody different. All I know is that there is a lawsuit. It's still open. The lawsuit has filed 4 specific claims against Mielle. First, that the product contained ingredients that cause hair loss and that this wasn't disclosed to customers. Second, that Mielle Organics and P&G presented the product as safe to use and didn't tell customers there were any risks. And then third, that customers wouldn't have bought the product or they would have paid much less if they had known that these ingredients could cause hair loss, and that Mielle and P&G were negligent in not properly testing the product to ensure that it wouldn't cause hair loss. So she is seeking damages for the cost of the product and also compensation for both economic and non-economic harm. It also causes for the company to either stop selling the product or to disclose the risks to future customers. So that's the first class action. The second class action is about false advertising, and it's totally different. It's filed by a woman named Sharon as of February 21st of 2025. So this one's pretty much brand new. Dr. Julian Sass did a fantastic job covering this on his Instagram page. So I'm just going to play you a little clip of what Dr. Julian had to say because he knows about the stuff way more than I do.
Mielle Organics was sued a couple days ago in a class action lawsuit for false advertising. Let's talk about it. They're saying that the products don't combat dandruff, they don't help hair grow faster and thicker, they don't increase blood circulation, they're not natural, and they're not made in the USA. The first 3 things about hair growth, blood circulation, and your hair growing faster and thicker are all what I would call a drug claim. And these are when you have a product and you're making a claim that it has some kind of physiological change on the skin. And the reason why that's a problem is because it goes outside of the realm of a cosmetic product and you get something like this where it's false advertising. But also you can get a letter from the FDA if you have a cosmetic product, but you make some kind of change about the physiological structure of the skin. And you'll also see a lot of looking and appearance claims to get around this kind of thing. I might say for more firmer looking skin and not firmer skin. Firmer skin can imply a physiological component. Firmer looking skin is cosmetic. So all these things about combating dandruff, helping hair grow faster and thicker, increasing blood circulation, are just poor copy and could easily be improved by just changing the wording of most of these things. Like combat dandruff instead helps with a flaky scalp, helps hair grow faster and thicker, helps your hair appear more thick and full. Things like that to just make that claim into a cosmetic instead of a drug claim like what it is now. Then they say that the products are not natural. Because there's no definition of how natural something has to be, then it's very easy for courts to interpret things one way or another. I don't really have strong opinions about that, but natural is always a risk if you have any synthetic ingredients in your product. Then you have made in the USA. And so what they're saying here is that they have ingredients in the product that do not come from the USA. Now, made in the USA has been interpreted as everything in your supply chain is in the USA, like from all of your raw materials, all your packaging, and everything. And so what brands will do to get around things like that is either say that the product is distributed by X company and not include a made by statement. They will say made in X country and ensure that their entire supply chain is in that country. Or they'll say made in X country from domestic and globally sourced materials so that it covers them no matter where the ingredients come from. We're getting stuff from all around the world, but you can't misinterpret what that statement says. So I do think that the drug claims in this lawsuit are totally valid for a consumer complaint, and I'm surprised that the FDA hasn't sent them a warning letter. At the same time, I do think that this is a law firm who's taking advantage of a lot of angry consumers who are making claims that aren't necessarily founded in any kind of evidence, like people saying that it made their hair fall out. But it's neither here nor there. We'll see if this goes anywhere, and let me know if you have any thoughts.
That's that on that. But while we're here, I want to talk about a similar lawsuit that was just settled against Olapex for the thing that Julian was talking about, those made in the USA claims. Because apparently what Olapex was doing was they were having ingredients made in other countries and then claiming that the product was made in the USA, which the lawsuit says is against the California's Made in the USA statute, Consumer Legal Remedies Act, unfair competition law, and false advertising law. Of course, Olapex hasn't admitted to any wrongdoing, but they are settling and they are saying, okay, fine, will pay out. Fine. It's not a lot though. It's not a lot. This is what it comes down to if you bought an Olapex product between February 7th, 2019 and September 6th, 2024. You may be entitled to a $5 voucher to use on Olaplex's expensive product. I think the cheapest Olaplex product is like $30, but you could get a $5 voucher. Now, it doesn't matter how many products you bought. It doesn't matter, when you bought them, as long as it's in that time period. Everybody gets $5 and you have to file it by May 12th of 2025. You don't have to provide proof of purchase, but in that form, a penalty of perjury, you do have to say where you purchased the product, what the date was, and what the product was that you bought. And if enough people do this, this could hit Olaplex. I don't know if a lot of people are going to do this though, so I don't know if it's going to hurt them. But for the record, Olaplex is not doing very well. Recent articles say that their sales dropped 9.8% in the 3 months to December 31st, 2024 versus the same period in 2023. I don't think this is going to hurt Olaplex in the end because, realistically, how many people are going to ask for this $5 voucher? 10, 20, even 100. That's $500. It's for coupons for their website. Like, I don't think this is going to hurt them. But the fact that they did have to settle and that the plaintiffs essentially quote unquote won, even though I know that's not the exact right terminology, but they didn't come out on top on this one. It's still not a good look for Olaplex, but in the end, I feel like this is the best possible outcome for Olaplex. I will keep an eye on the Mielle lawsuits, and I'll let you know what happens next with those. Every individual person has their level of tolerance for insults, for people making fun of them and insulting them. I will admit to you, my tolerance is very low. I get my feelings hurt pretty darn easily, even at my big age. To be 100% transparent, it still hurts my feelings when someone makes fun of the way I look. So I can only imagine what it's like for a person who grew up in the public eye as a celebrity child, now turning to being an adult, and what that criticism is like. I can only imagine. Millie Bobby Brown is an actress. She also owns the brand Florence by Mills. She came out on her Instagram last week and she went off. She went off on people insulting the way she looks. Apparently, a lot of news outlets have been making headlines about how she's aging poorly, how she looks older than she actually is. She's 21, and people are saying that she looks like she's in her 30s or that she looks like a mom, and she has absolutely had it with this narrative, and she came out on her Instagram to fight it. Here's a clip.
I started in the industry when I was 10 years old. I grew up in front of the world, and for some reason, people can't seem to grow up with me. Instead, they act like I'm supposed to stay frozen in time, like I should still look the way I did on Stranger Things Season 1. And because I don't, I'm now a target. I want to talk about some of the articles that have recently released while I'm on my press tour, and some of the writers who are so desperate to tear young women down. One article reads, "Why are Gen Zers like Millie Bobby Brown aging so badly?" Written by Lydia Hawkin. "What has Millie Bobby Brown done to her face?" Written by John Eli. Millie Bobby Brown mistaken for someone's mum as she guides younger sister Ava through LA. Written by Cassie Carpenter. This isn't journalism. This is bullying. The fact that adult writers are spending their time dissecting my face, my body, my choices is disturbing, and the fact that some of these articles are written by women makes it even worse. I refuse to apologize for growing up. I refuse to make myself smaller to fit the unrealistic expectations of people who can't handle seeing a girl become a woman. I will not be shamed for how I look, how I dress, or how I present myself. We have become a society where it's so much easier to criticize than it is to pay a compliment. Why is it the knee-jerk reaction to say something horrible rather than just say something nice? If you have a problem with that, I have to wonder, what is it that actually makes you so uncomfortable? Let's do better. Not just for me, but for every young girl who deserves to grow up without the fear of being torn apart for simply existing.
Currently, this video is up on her Instagram. It has over 5 million views and a bunch of comments from celebrities, from people like Sharon Stone, who said, beautifully said, "Thanks, it really doesn't matter our age or stature. We must be willing to own ourselves fully, not fall to the false ideology of tear down media. Good job, my friend." And then Julianne Hough commented, "Thank you for your courage to stand in your power, your light, and leading by example of what growing up actually looks like. The maturity and grace is undeniable, and how you address this, adore you, Millie." Also showing support, Lily Allen, Bella Thorne, Lily Singh, Octavia Spencer, Sarah Jessica Parker, and fellow Stranger Things castmates, Matthew Modine and Amy Beth McNulty. I'm sure there were many more. I only scrolled down so far, but it was a lot of people weighing in on this and supporting Millie. Even Instagram's official account commented saying, "We love you, Millie." In the end, in my opinion, things like this come down to reward versus punishment. And Millie's laying down the punishment as hard as she possibly can. But what really I feel like is going to change this approach to covering celebrities is the public, is the masses. Because the reason why they're creating these headlines is because they get clicks. They make people want to read them. So if we as a public can resist clicking on headlines like this, they will see that it is not profitable and they will stop doing it. Will we do that as a mass? I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope, honestly, but at least we can. At least we, in our little drop in the bucket, can make a promise or a pledge not to click on headlines like this and hopefully make some kind of difference. Because at the heart of this is a ton of misogyny, because this seems to only happen to women. And I don't think there's anybody that can deny this. This only happens to women, and it's always about how being older is bad, how aging is bad, how looking older is bad. The alternative to looking older is death. So looking older is not bad, and our society continues to drill this into people that any sign that you're getting older, wrinkles, or just a more mature face is a bad thing. I mean, the woman is 21 years old. Let her be. Let her live. And I've seen some criticism where people are like, well, she's gotten fillers and it makes her look older and it's about the plastic surgery. Just stop. In my opinion, we just would stop. She has a right to do whatever she wants with her face. That is none of our business. And whether it makes her look older or younger or whatever is completely irrelevant. It is not our business. We should not be weighing in on somebody else's face. It's just wrong. And again, it's based in misogyny. It's based in a double standard for men versus women. I am stepping off my soapbox now. Just for me, you do what you want. I'm not your mom. I'm not the boss of you. But for me, I don't want to support this kind of narrative or this kind of message. So I'm staying far, far away. And yeah, hopefully more people will too. When you hear the brand name Winky Lux, what do you think of? For me, I think about really cute packaging, but mid-quality products. And the price point is pretty mid too. Like, it's not inexpensive, but it's not super expensive. It's kind of like, it's got so much potential, but because the performance of the products isn't fabulous, I feel like it doesn't really stand out in the market like it should. So like, for example, I bought this rose blush a while back and it's beautiful. Of course it's used, but you can get the impression of what it probably looked like when I bought it. It's not that much different. But the reason why it even looks still like a rose is because the quality is just not great. It's very almost clay-like in the texture of it, and it just doesn't blend super well in the cheeks. It's kind of hard to pick up on a brush. It's just not my favorite product. I never reach for this, even though it's really freaking pretty. And I don't think that a $20 price point is out of line for something like this, but because the quality and the application of it just isn't fun for me, I wouldn't purchase another one of these, even for 20 bucks. But things may be turning around for Winky Lux. In July of 2024, a private equity firm acquired a majority stake in the company. The founder, Natalie Mackey, stayed on as CEO, but this recently, this past week, it was announced that this is going to change. Winky Lux announced that they will have a new CEO. Her name is Lauren Bloomer, and she is the former CEO of Becca Cosmetics, where I was like, what? Becca Cosmetics. But then I realized that she was the CEO of Becca Cosmetics like at the end of the life of Becca. So she was the CEO from October 2020 until May 2024 after they transitioned the most popular Becca products over to the Smashbox line. So it's not like she was CEO during like the heyday of the Jaclyn Hill collaboration and all of that. So I kind of got a little less excited then, but then I realized that her next job, maybe it wasn't her next job, but a job that she's held recently was the president of the parent company, the Good Glam Group, who had just brought Serena Williams' cosmetic line Win Beauty to the market. Natalie, the founder, is going to stay on as creative director while Lauren is going to take over the operations. When talking about the new leadership, Natalie said, after an extensive search for a visionary leader who shares our passion for redefining beauty, I'm thrilled to introduce Lauren as our new CEO. The decision is a pivotal step for Winky Lux as we continue to grow while staying true to our core values of joy, playfulness, and community. I do wish them all the best. Absolutely. I think there is so much potential in Winky Lux. I genuinely do. I just think they need to up their quality a bit. Like keep all the prettiness and all the coolness, get this in front of Gen Zs and younger millennials, and improve the quality so that you can have repeat customers. I feel like that's where Winky Lux falls down. But I am rooting for them, and I hope they do super well under the new leadership. Last week, I told you I was going to update you on the story this week. And if I didn't tell you I was going to update you on it, I wouldn't have updated you on it because it is a big nothing burger. But I am following the Vampyre Cosmetics lawsuit where the two founders, we went into a lot of detail last week. The two founders are fighting in court against each other about who stole from who and all that. It is a huge freaking mess. It's an indie makeup company. There's so much drama behind it. So I had mentioned that there was going to be a court hearing this past week. It was on March 3rd. It was a hearing on motion to be relieved as counsel. So that was it. Something's happening with one of the lawyers, at least one of the lawyers, where either the lawyer wants out and doesn't want to be a part of it anymore, or one of the founders of Vampyre wants to ditch their lawyer and they're asking the court for permission. That's it. That's all that happened. So I'm not going to tell you I'm going to update on Vampyre Cosmetics weekly because it may be something stupid. But if I see anything, I have it bookmarked. I'm going to keep checking on it. If I see anything, I will let you know what happens if anything interesting happens from here on in. Now, since we've been talking about class actions, we have a company that has a class action against them that we don't typically see class actions, and that's e.l.f. Cosmetics. It has to do with what the lawsuit is calling misleading packaging for their Holy Hydration Gentle Peeling Exfoliant and their Glossy Lip Stain. It is a 32-page document. Essentially what they're saying is that the packaging is, let's say, this size, but you're only getting like this much product inside. And I'm going to stop right here because this is where I feel like consumer education is really, really important, because I would dare to bet that the amount of product that is in the e.l.f. products is listed on the box. It is said how much is in there, and that what is in the packaging actually is in the packaging. But because the product is bigger, customers will look at it and they'll assume that they're getting more product. That is to me, a customer issue, not a brand issue. And I immediately start thinking about food packaging, because there's so many food packagings that are way bigger than the amount of product you get inside. Now, when you think of like a bag of chips or whatever, there's a reason for that air being in there. It's to protect the chips from breaking, and cereal and things like that. It's to protect the product from breaking. So what the lawsuit is saying is that with these e.l.f. products, there's no reason to have bigger packaging. It's literally just to trick customers into thinking they're getting more product. The lawsuit points out that the packaging is opaque, so you can't see inside, and that you can't shake it to like feel that there's less product in there. Like there's no way for customers to know. But they also don't mention that the amount that's in the package is probably printed right there on the box. And you can literally look at this product versus this product and how many, ounces or milliliters or whatever are in it and compare it. But customers don't do that. But is that the fault of the brand? That's the question. We've definitely talked about this before. I think it was with a jarred product a couple of years ago. Maybe it was last year. And I was on the same side with it then, but I know there are people on the other side that feel like that this absolutely is misleading. And the lawsuit definitely says that there is a violation there with several California consumer protection and packaging laws, and that the lawsuit is looking to represent all California residents who purchase the underfilled products, specifically the Holy Hydration Gentle Peeling Exfoliant and the Glossy Lip Stain within the past 4 years. And I don't know, I just feel like there needs to be more education for consumers about checking the amounts that's printed right there on the package as far as knowing how much is in there versus relying on the size of the product. But that's just me. I can definitely see the other side of it too. For our last story today, y'all know how much I love goofy commercials for makeup products, and I am so happy to see a brand coming out with an actually good commercial that's not e.l.f. Cosmetics. We have Tower 28, who freaking is crushing it with their new ad campaigns for their blush that's coming out. They're so cute. Right now there's 2. It looks like based on the trailer there's going to be a 3rd one. So I don't want to play all of them. Go over their Instagram to see all of them. The title of the series is called The Blush Lives of Sensitive Girls. Almost looks like a soap opera looking text. And it follows a hetero dating theme of a woman who is having some kind of trouble with dating. So the first one is Matt, and apparently Matt stayed over the night before, and the woman that had invited him over very much regrets it because Matt is gross and disgusting, and then she ends up choosing the matte blush instead. Ha ha ha. The other one I actually really like better, and it has to do with the concept of ghosting. It is so freaking cute. I am going to play you that one.
I'm being ghosted by my blush.
Oh, tell me about it. One time, I went on a date with this guy, and then I just asked for the last 4 digits of his social security.
No, not crush, blush.
Your blush is ghosting you?
Yes, okay? Watch.
You look so fucking bad.
Okay, I know!
This is not good.
I just want to share my love languages and communicate that I want a blush that's not going to immediately fade away right after I apply it, but I feel like my needs aren't being heard.
You know what? We deserve something that will stay.
You're right. Wow, my standards were too low.
Can I just be honest with you?
Yeah.
That blush made you look like a ghost.
Okay, yeah, I get the point.
And not even a sexy, hot, attractive ghost.
You look like a ghost every time you wake up.
Are you mad at me?
Let's just move on.
But now you look amazing.
Thank you.
And that's all that matters.
Never let me do that again.
I will never.
There is a trailer that also shows some kind of scene in a park, so I imagine that one's coming soon. It may already be out when this video goes live, but as of filming, it's not out yet. I'm looking forward to watching it, but go Tower 28. I am rooting for them on this. I love this. I want to see more brands doing this. It's very professionally shot. It's cute. It's engaging. Maybe a little long in length, maybe a little bit repetitive, maybe a little too much, but overall, I love it. Keep going. Tower 28 is now on my radar specifically for this. Now, I've never bought anything from Tower 28. Should I buy these new blushes? Maybe I'll buy one just to try it out. Just out of pure respect for the creation of these commercials. And that, my friend, was the What's Up in Makeup Top News segment this week. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you, as always, to the What's Up in Makeup Facebook hunters. Their names are scrolling below me. Thank you for all of your submissions this week. I appreciate you with my entire heart and soul. I am happy to inform you that we will have a product report this week. There was enough for me to share with you this week, so I'm very excited to have a product report for you tomorrow. We'll talk about all of the new releases and the things happening with new releases. It is really, really interesting, so hopefully you'll stay tuned for that. But if you would like to not watch another video right now, I would love, love, love to have you stay. YouTube should be recommending a couple videos for you over here to watch. The bottom one is last week's top news segment. It's gonna be right there. YouTube's gonna pick the top video for you based on the algorithm and what you've been watching recently. But if you gotta go, I completely get it. It is no problem. Thank you for hanging out as long as you did, and mad love to you. I will see you in a video very, very soon tomorrow. All right, bye. Bye. I can't leave with just a bye.